Hello everyone, welcome to our Timeless Oracle reading. Our oracle card for today belongs to the Into the Lonely Woods Oracle by Lucy Cavendish and illustrated by Dan May. Our card for today is entitled Between Two Worlds. When you look at it, there's this in the picture. When we look at the picture, there are two islands and there is no bridge between the two islands. There was the girl, when you try to recall the first cards, there was a girl that was accompanying this creature. But now he cannot go back anymore to the past. And so he is separated from the girl. At the same time, he finds himself stranded. He finds himself stranded in an island, as if he couldn't move forward any further. It's as if he's still looking towards the destination, but he couldn't find a way going there. It's as if he's caught in the middle, and he doesn't know how to move forward. But at the same time, he couldn't go back anymore. Now, sometimes we encounter that in our journey. Our journey from our past life situation to the transformation that we are aiming for or being inspired to go towards to. We cannot go back anymore to the time when we were before the transformation began. Because there are certain things that has already changed in us. And sometimes even the people who were with us before the transformation that we underwent no longer could understand us, and so they drifted away. And so we continue to move forward because we feel drawn to something. But as we go forward, there are moments when we seem to be unable to do so. It reminds me of the Wheel of Fortune, wherein sometimes we find ourselves in a difficult situation, but only for a passing moment, and sooner or later we start to feel better. And then afterwards, we will again find ourselves in a difficult situation. Our journey towards transformation is like that. Actually, our journey to transformation is like a spiral. It's a cycle that goes on and on. We don't immediately undergo complete transformation. It follows a certain cycle. Usually it starts, for us, it starts with a crisis or a tower moment. And that crisis awakens us that there is something much more in life. And then after that, we somehow separate ourselves from the people or from the society. We spend more time alone. We spend more time in solitude after the tower moment, because that is the time for us to learn, to assimilate the experience that was. So oftentimes what happens is the transformation begins with a crisis or a trial. Sooner or later we discover, as we undergo our constant cycle, as we undergo the cycle constantly, you realize that it's not actually a crisis, but sort of like a trial, an examination. But oftentimes when we have that shift of outlook in life, usually we are not yet aware that it's just a trial or an examination so that we can become a better person. So what happens is we look at it as a crisis, and sometimes it really devastates us. And so what happens is we withdraw from the situation, we withdraw from people, and then we spend more time alone. Now this is the second part of the cycle. First, there is that crisis that shakens us, or trial that awakens us, and then we withdraw. When we withdraw, we find ourselves more receptive to the guidance, to the teachings, and also we find ourselves reflecting on the situation. The guidance and teachings come from our inner world, from the divine, from our spirit guides, and also the guidance or the lesson that we learn comes from the experience that is sometimes we consider as a crisis. And so when we withdraw, we undergo a process of learning. After the process of learning, we start to feel better because we realize that the crisis was not actually a crisis, but an opportunity for us to learn, an opportunity for us to grow. And so we enjoy the process of learning. And it is also in this part or in this time that we start to gain gifts coming from the universe. So some of us, if before we were just aware of, we were just using our external senses, suddenly after the crisis you find yourself starting to develop your clear gifts. Now you sometimes develop it gradually also. One clear gift develops, and then after a while there will be another one. It's a process of discovery. Now, after this process of feeling better, feeling happy, then another trial comes, sort of like an examination. And then after that trial, then there will be a moment of solitude and rest again, where we withdraw, and then we learn new lessons again, and then again the cycle continues. That is why sometimes when we look at it, when we look at this card, sometimes there are moments when we feel like we cannot move forward anymore. Usually these are the times when we undergo those moments of trials, moments of crisis. Sometimes they even come as a feeling of stagnation, a feeling of abandonment. Sometimes there comes a time, sometimes they discover it, they explain it as there is a honeymoon period where you enjoy the presence of the divine, you enjoy your spirit guides, and then you enjoy also your discoveries, and then there will be a moment of dryness, and in that moment of dryness you don't feel the presence of the divine, you don't feel the presence of your guides, as if nothing is there. Some of them say that this is a moment for us to become stronger, not to be attached to the benefits or the good things that you feel when you undergo spiritual growth. It's like learning to move forward even without the sweetness. It's part of the maturing process wherein if before we had a lot of sweetness, we are being taught also to learn to move forward even in the absence of sweetness. Those moments when we feel like there is stagnation and we couldn't move forward, these are just part of the wheel of life. So it means it will not be permanent. It's just part of the process, part of the spiral. And these too will pass. And then afterwards, sooner or later, we'll start to see glimpses again of the heaven that we are meant to attain. So sooner or later, we get glimpses of heaven here on earth. We see glimpses of the potential, the possibilities, the great things that await us as we continue in our spiritual journey. And then there will be trials again. Well, that's part of that's part of our journey. But you notice that as you go through the cycles, you become deeper and deeper. Your ability to love grows, your ability to be patient grows, your gifts grows, and at the same time, your ability to protect yourself from being taken advantage of, from being drained of your energies, also grows. you realize that before you know it, you've already gone a long, long way. Now let's try to read from the handbook that accompanies this card so that we can gain more insights regarding between two worlds. Sometimes the gulf between the old world and the world yet to come feels like a chasm. It doesn't feel possible to bridge that gap, to somehow make it to the other side. So for a while, we slump and go into ourselves in the denying and destructive old ways. And just at this point, a sign will appear. The scent of flowers, bird song, the colors of dawn will give birth to hope in your heart. And suddenly, the gap will not seem so huge. The waters you must cross do not seem so deep, nor do they feel dangerous. And within a shorter while than you think possible, the old and the new will be bridged, and you will walk into the next life within this lifetime. So just be patient. Enjoy the experience. Enjoy the highs and lows of the journey. Enjoy the constant opportunities to learn, to grow, and to feel how to truly live. Well, that's it for today. Thank you for the likes and comments you've given to the channel. Thank you for subscribing. I hope to see you again soon. Until that time, may God continue to bless your ways.